Okay, so we got to clear something up here, and I really want you to listen to me. Somehow, in this day and age, we get stuck on a word, and the word becomes law. And then if you break that law, you have completely failed. You are a failure. You should not be listened to. You should not be heard. You should not, nobody should pay attention to you. And you know what I mean by that? Like, I'm carnivore, right? That's what the name has become, the carnivore diet, where you eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, right? And chicken and fish and pork, right? You can eat all of those things. But am I still a carnivore if I eat an olive along with all of the meat that I'm eating? Am I still a carnivore if once in a while I have some broccoli? Am I still a carnivore if I eat watermelon in the summertime? Am I a carnivore? And you go on and on and on as if you have to squeeze into a label. You do not have to squeeze into a label. You guys, I really want everybody to understand this. Let's look at the different carnivore style diets or eating habits or whatever you want to call them. So you have the strict Lions diet, which is just beef, salt, and water. And then on the other side, you eat your meat, you eat, let's say 70% carnivore, and then 30% other foods, keeping everything very low carb. And then there is a whole spectrum in between that we all fall into and we fall under. Does that mean that if you do eat some broccoli, you're no longer a carnivore? Here's my question. Does it matter if anybody thinks you're carnivore or not? Does it matter if you are true to the labels that society and this carnivore community adheres to? If you're starting to get like bad comments because you had a little broccoli today and you happen to mention it in a video or in social media on one of the social media platforms, I mean, hello, you have to really let go of that kind of thing. Being carnivore really means that you're low carb. That would mean that you're eating a lot of meat and fats and salt and butter and eggs, right? That would be your diet. And you can call it a carnivore diet, but essentially it's just a very, very low carb diet. And here's my question, you guys. Why do we have to get stuck on if the carnivore diet is in fact a carnivore diet? Are you really being carnivore? And what if you're not? What if you actually had, I don't know, a bite of baklava for Christmas this year? What if you had a little bit of ice cream? Would you no longer be carnivore? Would you have betrayed the carnivore world? I mean, come on, you guys. Come on. That's bullshit. I mean, you all know that's BS. The carnivore diet or a low carb diet is simply a way of eating. It's a lifestyle. Once in a while, we all do this. We go off, we nibble on something. Then we come back on depending on what's going on with our bodies. If I can go off the strict carnivore diet and eat some broccoli and I become a ketovore for that day and I'm fine, well then I might do it again and I'll be fine. And it's not a problem. If I eat some blueberries Do I suddenly leave the carnivore diet and become an animal-based diet person? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So here's what I suggest. When we come into this carnivore lifestyle, what we are essentially doing is minimizing the carbohydrates. That's basically what we're doing. And we're moving into a ketogenic state of living. And sometimes you do intermittent fasting and you really get into a ketogenic state, and other times you don't. And does it really matter? Well, that just depends on where you are. So let's let go of all the difficulties that we have created around the words that we use. And when I say that I'm carnivore, what I'm saying is I'm doing a ketogenic diet without the vegetables. I'm doing an extremely low carb diet. I may have up to 5 carbs a day. I mean, and do I have to measure it? No. Is it important to be strict? No. It's important to me to stay primarily carnivore in the classic sense: beef, butter, bacon, eggs, pork, chicken, fish. It's important to me so that I can continue to heal from the Hashimoto's, which I no longer have anymore, and my herpes outbreaks, which I no longer get anymore. And I'm talking 4 different kinds of herpes, HSV 1 and 2, herpes zoster, and herpetic whitlow, healing from that. So no, I'm not going to dive in and eat cheesecake all day and get the Captain Crunch and the, Pop-Tarts and start eating those and think that I'm going to be okay. Of course I'm not going to be okay. I'll probably get the same symptoms back again. But if I go off the carnivore diet and I eat, some vegetables, or if I'm eating some low carbohydrate fruits like zucchini and blueberries, and any other berry, in fact, does that mean that I'm not carnivore anymore, that I have failed somehow? And of course, the answer is a big fat no. Absolutely not. I mean, what is it with this whole thing that you have failed and you've betrayed the carnivore people out there? I mean, let's not be like the vegan movement. When I was a vegan and it was, people were shunning me and shutting me out because my husband is a fisherman. Was I supposed to divorce because I decided to go vegan when everything that I own is from the fishing business? I mean, that was just outrageous and stupid, if you ask me. So, coming back to the thought here, there are people who are 70% carnivore. They eat on their plate, 70% of what's on their plate is meat every day. They're still carnivore. If you're eating any meat at all, you're actually a carnivore. Even if you're eating meat once a month, you're still carnivore. Carnivore means that you eat meat. A ketogenic diet means that you follow a low carbohydrate diet. So let's not get stuck on the word, okay? It's a waste of time. What you need to look at is how you are feeling, what your own specific problems are. What is it about going on this low-carb diet that you want to accomplish and achieve? Those are the questions that you ask, and from that, you begin your journey on the carnivore diet or the low-carb diet. You begin your journey and you experiment. What works? What can you do? How far can you go? Should you go into the lion diet? Just beef, salt, and water, and absolutely nothing else? No spices, nothing? Or can you be in this midterm carnivore diet, which is what I'm doing right now: beef, butter, bacon, eggs, chicken, pork, and fish. Sometimes dairy. Am I no longer carnivore because I drink a coffee? Okay, see what I mean? And then you can even, if you really haven't got any health problems and you just want to do it because you know it's going to make you feel great, maybe you just do 70% meat per day and 30% low carbs. A low carb diet could be 100 grams of carbohydrates a day. It could be. It won't work for me, not right now, but maybe one day that's where I'll be. Maybe not. I don't know. It doesn't matter. That's the point. We each go through our own bodies. We discover what is working for us and what isn't working as well, and you go with it. If you're 70% carnivore and you're still having herpes outbreaks all over your body, then maybe you want to think about being 90% carnivore. If you're 90% carnivore and you're still getting herpes outbreaks all over your body, maybe you just want to do 0 carbs and try that out for a while. And then you get healthy. You stop getting herpes outbreaks. You stop having the Hashimoto's, or you stop having any other, whatever your troubles are. Then can you try eating some vegetables again? Yeah, go ahead and try and see what happens. If you have a reaction, and you will know right away, then you stop and you know that your body's not ready to accept other foods yet. Then you try again a little bit later on, and maybe this time nothing happens. So you eat a little bit more broccoli. Maybe you have some, cabbage. Maybe you begin to incorporate 5%, maybe 10% of your plate. That's basically meats and a little bit of vegetables. So you're basically ketovore. And if that works for you and you have no reactions, go for it. And immediately, if you do have a reaction, you'll know to get rid of those again, go back to being strict carnivore, and you go with that. So do you see how this is all very flexible? It is all dependent on who you are, what works for you, how you want to go about this change, how deeply do you want to move your body into healing, which does not mean that you do a lion's diet and you get rid of everything. But if you're having trouble, get rid of everything and try the lion's diet for a while and see how that's working for you. It's trial and error. You have to see what works for you. We are all different. We all work differently. And I'm not one of those carnivores out there that shuns eating vegetables or shuns eating fruits. No. I don't think that that's helpful to anyone. So let's get off this labeling box and put ourselves into the real world, in real life. We are human beings. Human beings tend to try different things, to stop rolling with that particular ball and latch on to another one and roll in a different way. We tend to do that all the time because that's who we are. Taking change and going with it is our way of learning, understanding, and growing throughout life. Just kind of do the same thing with this low-carb, ketogenic world. Come in, try it out, see what works. Test this way, test that way. Your body will tell you what's working and what isn't. All right, you guys, please click that like button and the subscribe so you know, and that little notification bell so you know when I have a new video up and out on this channel. Please help me get this channel growing so that I can reach more people, especially if you are suffering from herpes outbreaks, continual and like really bad ones like I was getting, and you just don't want to go through that anymore. you might want to consider doing a carnivore diet. Let me know in the comments below. Feel free to get in touch with me if you have any questions.